What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about SoFi, I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what really moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close 2.89% in the green, 21.68 the low, 22.43 the high, and a little bit low for the volume. So 52.8 million shares being traded, 79.6 is the average. Of that volume though, a lot of it came from actual institutions rather than algorithmic trading. So I've already mentioned why I much prefer institutions rather than algos, but I'm not going to waste your time going over that again. But nonetheless, a lot of big transactions, even after hours. So there's a lot of stocks that have been starting to get a lot of buys today. So I'm not really sure exactly what came out. As far as I'm aware, from what I can see from the trending news, a lot of companies missed on their earnings. So if there is a company that actually did beat that's moving the market that I'm not aware of, let me know in the comments below. But you are seeing a lot of big buys that is pushing SoFi and many other stocks higher. So some of them are 2.2 million, 8.5, 10.4, 13.2, 6.4, and then 2.5. So a lot of big money getting into SoFi for whatever reason. So let me know your viewpoint on that. But aside from that though, on a macro standpoint, there really wasn't that much that came out today. Initial jobless claims came in at 226, forecast of 220, so a little bit hotter, but this did further validate a cut for the September 17th meeting. So now there is a 92.7% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. So pretty good to definitely see for that. And even for the October 29th meeting, you are still seeing a 61.5% likelihood of a following 25 basis point cut. So pretty good stuff to see as far as this. So who knows, maybe if we do continue to get a little bit hotter data over the next little bit, maybe that might possibly, a little bit far-fetched, but start to see a 50 basis point estimate for the September 17th meeting. That would be pretty kick-ass if you ask me. But aside from that, there wasn't any news from SoFi, no fireside chats. There was a 10Q that did come out after hours. I didn't really look at it in its entirety because it's 117 pages, but first thing I did is I just wanted to see cryptocurrency, just to see if they had any Easter eggs on when that is going to be unveiled. It's listed 24 times in this document, but no actual date is stated. But if you read between the lines, in my opinion, it is going to be in Q4. That's just my estimate, of course, but nonetheless, I think that would be huge for SoFi. The only other thing I wanted to share with you, it was posted by Tanner, and that is just web traffic. So in July, it looks like there was 22.4 million visits to SoFi, so that is a new record. Of course, in the past, this has always been a good indication of member growth, and at the same time, there was that big update, I believe it was on August the 1st for the loans, so the refinancing, so maybe that could be one attributing factor as what Tanner does bring up, so rising loan demand. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. Definitely shows that SoFi is going to be making more money. So very positive for investors. So nonetheless, I just wanted to bring this up. Pretty good stuff. Aside from that, shorts didn't really do all that much. They did increase though. This is the first time that they increased in almost like a week and a half. It wasn't all that much though, 68,000 shares. 10.28% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 119.73 million shares overall being shorted. As per usual, cost to borrow minimum is negative, so there's still brokers out there trying to drum up some business by incentivizing shorting, paying people to short. Clearly it's not really working out all too well for them. Aside from that, moving over to options, we had 26 million in calls, 6.24 in puts. So kind of low volume a little bit in comparison to what it normally has been, but this might be the new norm, is roughly around like 30 to 40 million is now the new norm. So again, it is what it is, but 46% of all the options being done today were bullish in nature. Of the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 22 to 23 $22.50 to $23 range by the end of tomorrow. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub $21.50. So the fact that we're at 22, a little bit more upside is anticipated. With tomorrow being Friday, just take note of this. So you have 13,000 at that 22. 12,000 at that 2250, 11,000 at that 23. You have 10,000 at that 25, but those seem to be the pretty much big walls. So by the end of the day tomorrow, if SoFi is kind of around that 22, you might see shorts wake up a little bit just to kind of suppress it. No different than at that 2250 or potentially best case scenario, 23. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. Aside from that, with it closing at 2208, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So as I mentioned in my pre-market, it was actually nearing this pivot point. So 2226, regardless, just kind of mark that in your kind of calendars or your charts. That's going to be a key pivot and a key breakout for SoFi. So if it's able to get above that 2226, then you can anticipate that 2404 to be most likely touched. And then following that, 25, then pretty much 27. So we're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from a new 52-week high. So first step is going to be that 2226. It did kind of momentarily break above that first thing, but didn't really have enough to stay there. So going into the next couple of trading days, just watch for that. Even after hours, it looks like it wants to test that. So again, just kind of watch for that even during the overnight. Aside from that, there was one new rating or a couple new ones that did come out. So William Blair did give a buy, no price target. Analyst has a 63% success rating, which isn't all that bad in all fairness. Then you did have KBW, Tim, who has a 57% success rating, gave a sell $14 price target. That was all posted after hours and throughout yesterday. So not really new information for today. No new articles or anything like that coming out associated to SoFi. And then aside from that, on the actual chart today, it was able to successfully get above that ALMA. So it does show that it wants to move higher. So this is a first sign of a nice push higher, a nice reversal, because prior to today, it was in kind of consolidation mode. So today it was able to get above that. Always a good thing. Still above all the key pivotal moving averages. Given everything, SoFi is actually still considered oversold. So if we do have some good news or whatever else, you could see some corresponding buying and really pushing it higher. So yeah, exciting times are definitely ahead. I know a lot of people really wanted SoFi to miss on their earnings and really go back down to kind of like the $18 range. And I think just generally speaking, that's just a lot of individuals that sold at the top that want to buy. But I feel like given the circumstances in the market, SoFi does actually want to continue to move higher, because yes, we had some volatile days, but it didn't really break below key support levels. So going back over here for a second, this $20 range, that 2047, that is like diamond support. If it breaks below that, then yes, most likely we will be seeing further consolidation, possibly even 18. But for right now, things are actually looking that it wants to continue to move higher. So just kind of take note of both of those, because I think no matter what, whether we break below that 2047 going into next week or in the foreseeable future, or we break above that 2226, it's we're going to see some extreme moves one way or another. But in my opinion, I think given the circumstances, rate cuts right around the corner, you're going to see higher highs. That's just my opinion. Don't listen to me. You guys do whatever floats your boat. One final thing though, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.